Welcome to Asylum TV, and today we're working on Project C5. And something that happens to almost every single C5 has just happened to mine. So one of the most common problems with the C5 Corvette is the column steering lock. Chevy came out with multiple recalls for this problem, but none of them seem to really fix the issue. And that is where Compliance Parts' LMC5 module comes into play. It bypasses the column lock, completely eliminating the problem. And that's what we're going to be installing today. So Compliance Parts makes two different devices to fix the same problem. They both work together. One is going to be the steering lock column unlocker, which basically does what it says. It unlocks your steering lock so you can permanently deactivate it. And then Compliance Parts also makes the LM5 module. Basically bypasses it. And that's what we're going to be doing. Okay, the very first thing you need to do is jump into your C5. You're going to find out if your steering column lock stays unlocked after having the key off. If it stays unlocked, perfect, you can move on to the next step. If it doesn't, you're gonna have to pull a fuse. So we're gonna find out if my steering column lock stays unlocked or not. And there it goes, unlocking. We're gonna pull the key out. And there it locks. That means we are gonna have to pull a fuse. Okay, first step to this procedure, in my particular case, is put the key in the on position to unlock the steering column lock, and that's what we're going to do. And now we're going to leave it unlocked and go ahead and pull fuse 23. So the very first thing we need to do is get in here and take all this stuff out and get to that fuse. So it's going to be behind this rear kick panel. Once the kick panel is removed, you're going to have your computer and your fuse box exposed, and this is where we're going to be pulling the fuse from. We're going to unscrew this cap here. Okay, so what we're going to do is pull fuse 23, which is going to be right there. So let's go ahead and do that and find it on the fuse panel. We're going to be pulling this fuse right here. Remember, keep the key in the on position and remove the fuse, and then we'll move on to the next step. Now we're going to remove the key and see if it stayed in the unlocked position. All we have to do is move the steering wheel a half turn and check to see if the steering column lock stayed unlocked. So your next step is to take a 5/16 if you have stock terminals and remove the negative. So I'm not going to bore you guys with that. I'm just going to, and voila, done. Okay, the next step is to remove the BCM from the compartment. So let's do that. The next step is to remove these connectors here. All you have to do is push down on here and pull that way, and these connectors should come right out. So let's do that. Okay, the next step is going to be a little bit tricky. We're going to be disabling the steering column relay, but double check the instructions because this is really specific to your year, make, and model. So usually on my 03 Z06, the relay is going to be on the right above where we found the BCM right here. So here's where we pulled the BCM, right above it. The relay on the right, there's going to be 2 for my year, make, and model, and the wire combination is going to be orange, orange, green, white, and purple. We're going to disconnect this and remove that relay. But again, double check your instructions because your year, make, and model might be different. You might have an automatic, you might have a 98 or a 97. So double check the instructions. I'm going to do this off camera because getting in there, it's going to be really tight. The relay connection has been removed. We are no longer going to be plugging this back in, but double check your instructions just in case. But before you can do that, you're going to have to remove this retention clip. All you got to do is pull this straight out to remove that, and then you can move on to the next step. For the next step, we're going to find our green terminal here, and we're going to remove this green clip. There's 2 retention clips on either side. We're going to pry these up, and we're going to pull this out. And that's it. Okay, the next step is to locate the wire we're going to remove. So in our instructions, it says that we're looking for the orange wire positioned in A8, top row, far left. So if we're looking at this, it's going to be far left, top row. So far left, top row is going to be this wire here. So go ahead and double check your instructions. Make sure you're pulling out the correct wire. So we're going to take our supplied removal tool, which is just a teeny tiny Allen wrench, and we're going to push forward on the connector and insert on the top row here. And voila, first cable is out. So the next cable that we're going to pull out is the purple wire in position A6 on the same connector. So it is going to be the third one, top row on the left. So it's going to be right here for you guys. Let me see if I can show you. There it is. Top row, third one from the left. 1, 2, 3. From the back, you should be able to see it right there. So same thing, we're going to take our removal tool, find third one from the left, which should be our purple, insert all the way, and there we go. Next step is to replace the purple wire that we just removed from our BCM with the wire that comes with the LM5 module. So let's go ahead and do that. So it should look something like this. Okay, the next step is to reinsert the retention clip back onto the green plug. You should hear a nice click now that it's secure. All right, the next step is to find the large pink connector, not the small pink connector, the large 32 pin connector, and we're going to be removing the blue retention clip. The next step is to remove the correct green wire. And as you can see here, we have two green wires right next to each other. So please refer to your instructions, but the instructions say top row, second from the right. So here's the end of the right, 1, 2. We're going to follow that straight back, and it's going to be the very first green wire on the right. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. And there it is. Okay, the next step is to replace the removed green wire with the LM5 terminal wire. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, the next step is to replace the retention clip back onto the pin connector. Okay, the next step from here on the instructions is to go ahead and place the BCM back into place, but it's going to make it harder to access these wires. So I'm going to go ahead and cap these and heat shrink them just so I can do it a little bit easier before I put all the connectors back on the BCM and put the BCM back into place. So this is me just being a little bit extra. You can use the provided caps that came with the module, but I decided to also add a little bit of heat shrink just for some extra reassurance that these aren't going to fall off anytime soon. They also provide some zip ties, but I think I prefer this method. So now we're going to go ahead and replace the BCM back into place. All right, so first things first, we're going to reconnect all of the connectors. So before completely pushing in the BCM, leave it just a little bit loose. Zip tie your connections just to make it a little bit cleaner. And then we're going to attach this ground wire to this hole here. Once everything is tied in, it should look a little something like this. And you can push the BCM all the way down and seat it. And of course, do your cable management. It should look something similar to this. Have all of the disconnected cables here. And then I have the new module running down this way, held together with zip ties. Before reinstalling the battery, after reconnecting everything back onto the BCM, we're going to reinstall the fuse back into its appropriate placement. Okay, and now we're going to reconnect the battery. All right, the next step is to put the vehicle into the on position, and we shouldn't see pull out key and wait 10 seconds on the on position. And after that, we're going to go ahead and turn on the vehicle, and we shouldn't see a service column lock. If we do, there's some steps that you can do after that, but we're hoping we don't. So let's give that a try. All right. Nothing in the on position. All right, so far so good. All right, guys, I just got done with my test drive. Everything went smooth, and this finally fixed my column lock problem. I'm so happy. So I hope someone watching this video fixes their column lock problem, because it's so frustrating to have a C5 and not be able to drive it whenever you want. But if you guys want to see more of Project C5, let me know in the comment section down below. I really want to make this a promotional vehicle for the channel. I want to do so many more maintenance videos and modification videos. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys later on the next one.